Okay, take 3. Welcome everyone to session number 297 of Kevin Reed's A Course in Miracles. Today we are focusing on the Song of Prayer, right, which focuses on prayer, forgiveness, and healing. Right, we are on the healing phase, and this is section 3, Roman numeral 3, separation versus union. Right, and just a reminder, keep the metaphysics, keep the bottom line statements in your mind, but don't jump the shark, as the saying goes, I guess. Go to the doctor if you need a doctor, okay? If you have some kind of a situation going on, see the appropriate magician, okay? And there are wonderful magicians out there that will make you feel better, okay? What Jesus is going to tell you is that that's okay to do that, but they don't fix the real problem, which is the belief that I separated from the oneness. And he's going to tell us here that it's cool to do those things. Do it. Don't be in pain. Don't be silly. Right? He says, but that's just reinforcing the idea of separation. And don't deny yourself, the doctor, the dentist, or whatever. Right? Don't stay in pain because you think it's going to release you from the ego. It's not. Right? There's also, big statements about realizing your innocence without suffering. Okay? Atonement without sacrifice. Right? No need. As they say in the spirit room in Arizona, Jerome, Arizona, suffering is optional. So, separation versus union. False healing heals the body in a part, but never as a whole. Its separate goals become quite clear in this, for it has not removed the curse of sin that lies on it. Therefore, it still deceives. Nor is it made by one who understands the other is exactly like himself. For it is this that makes true healing possible. When false, there is some power that another has, not equally bestowed on both as one. Here is the separation shown. And here, the meaning of true healing has been lost. Idols have arisen to obscure the unity that is the Son of God. A lot packed in that Shakespearean poetry there. All right. So he says false healing, which is going to the doctor. All right. Doesn't make you bad. Remember that. Right. It's just not the true healing, which is the realization that you never separated. You are as innocent as the moment you were born, so to speak. Right? You are innocent as the moment you became an extension of God's mind. Right? That's the true healing. And working your way up to that realization is a process. But false healing heals the body in a part. So it heals a part of the body, but never as a whole. Okay? Its separate goals become quite clear in this, for it has not removed the curse of sin that lies on it. So whatever the healing is, whatever you do, to heal whatever it is, okay? Whether it's, getting a penicillin shot or going to an ayahuasca shaman or something, or, a couple of extremes there, but you see what I'm saying? Everything in between, right? These things have not removed the curse of sin that lies on it, right? And all that is, it hasn't removed the belief in separation. All right? It hasn't removed the belief in separation. Although I'm not advocating it, but, never mind. The thing is to work your way toward the realization that there is no separation. You are not separated from your source. You're not separated from love. Okay? Its separate goals become quite clear in this, for it has not removed the curse of sin that lies on it. Okay, so you fixed my foot, but you didn't fix the belief in separation, the belief that I am guilty because I destroyed the oneness. Right? That's the curse that lies on existence here. And therefore, this type of healing still deceives. Right? But don't deny yourself the healing. Right? Just realize you're being deceived. This is not the end all and be all of existence. Right? It still deceives, nor is it made by one who understands the others like himself. So whoever the practitioner is, whatever they're doing, right, their services are not rendered. They don't understand that you're just like they are. There is no separation. I am you and you are me. Right? And we are all together. Oh. Right? So the practitioners, though, they're offering their services, but not out of a sense of oneness. Right? Right? For it is this that makes true healing possible. Right? When I realize that you and I are the same, right? You and I are the same. Our minds are not separated, right? That's what makes true healing possible. When false, there is some power that another has, not equally bestowed on both as one. All right? So you go to a practitioner because they have a power that you don't have. So here is the separation shown. And here the meaning of true healing has been lost. Right? So the whole idea of true healing has been obscured. And idols have arisen, right, to obscure the unity that is the Son of God. The idols have arisen, the bodies, right, the remedies, the practitioners, all these things have arisen, right, to obscure the fact that you and I are one, and you and I are one with God. As Jesus said, I and the Father are one. Right? And he was trying to tell them, look, you can realize this too, because you and the Father are one. So, paragraph 2, healing to separate may seem to be a strange idea, and yet it can be said of any form of healing that is based on inequality of any kind. These forms may heal the body, and indeed are generally limited to this. Someone knows better, has been better trained, or is perhaps more talented and wise. Therefore, he can give healing to the one who stands beneath him in his patronage. The healing of the body can be done by this because in dreams, equality cannot be permanent. The shift and change are what the dreams are made of. To be healed appears to be to find a wiser one who, by his arts and learning, will succeed. Right? And this is what he says, healing to separate it, reinforces separation. Because there's someone who's got more power than I have as far as this is concerned. Right? Someone who's got more knowledge. Right? They're better trained. Right? Perhaps they're more talented or wise, he says. Right? And he says, and this can be done because in dreams, equality cannot be permanent. Right? In this dream in which we walk, there can't be permanent equality, otherwise the dream is over. Right? So we keep reinforcing the dream. And he says there's shifts and change. You know more than me. In this case, I know more than you. In that case, he says those are the shifts back and forth. And he goes, these shifts and change are what the dream is made of. All right? So many differences. You're different than me. All right? You have a PhD. All right? You have an MD. You have an LLD. You have all these Ds. All right? That's what makes differences. Right? And he says that's what keeps the dream going. That's what the dream is all about. That's what the dream is made of. To be healed appears to be to find a wiser one who, by his arts and learning, will succeed. So within the dream, the idea of healing is to find a wiser one who, by his arts, will succeed. Right? Whether it's a well-trained doctor or a shaman. Right? Their special arts, by their special arts, they will succeed. Right? Paragraph 3. Someone knows better. This is the magic phrase by which the body seems to be the aim of healing, as the world conceives of it. And to the wiser one, another goes to profit. Another goes to profit by his learning and his skill, to find in him the remedy for pain. How can that be? True healing cannot come from inequality assumed and then accepted as the truth, and used to help restore the wounded and to calm the mind that suffers from the agony of doubt. Okay? So someone knows better. This is the magic phrase by which the body seems to be the aim. The body seems to be the aim of healing as the world conceives of it. All right? Whereas we're talking about the healing of the mind. All right? The healing of the belief in separation. The healing of the belief that I'm guilty because I separated from the oneness. And the idea of the atonement is that you never separated, you never left. You're at home, dreaming of exile. So the body seems to be the aim of healing, as the world conceives of it. And to the wiser one, another goes to profit from his learning and his skill, to find in him the remedy for pain. Right? Remember, this is written in the 70s, okay? So it still retains all its masculine pronouns. There's a lot of instances where I would much rather be treated by a woman doctor, believe me. All right. So he says, we go to that wiser one to find in him or her the remedy for pain. He says, how can that be? True healing cannot come from inequality assumed and then accepted as truth. So because true healing cannot come from inequality that's accepted as truth. Well, you know more than me, you're better than me. All right? He says, you're accepting the inequality as truth. So it can't be true healing. True healing is that we are one, we are the same, we are exact. As a matter of fact, there is no other. There's only the one. Right? So true healing cannot come from inequality assumed and then accepted as truth and then used to help restore the wounded and to calm the mind that suffers from the agony of doubt. Right? So from the thought of separation, true healing can't come, all right? But in the meantime, you can get a little relief, all right? Don't deny yourself, all right? Just keep it in the back of your mind that, oh, I'm taking care of the body, as if, all right? Do that. Otherwise, the body becomes a giant distraction. You don't take care of the pain's going to get worse, right? And no matter how cool you think you are, no matter how stubborn you are, that pain is going to be a distraction. So take care of it. But in the meantime, realizing that this is not going to bring me the peace that passes understanding. Okay? The only thing that will bring that is my joining with that. It's my going to the right mind, as we say in the Course, where the memory of who you are resides, the memory that you brought with you into the dream. We call it the Holy Spirit, right? Symbolized by Jesus. Right? All those symbols. We go and sit with those symbols. Just sit in the oneness without knowing anything, without a plan, right? Without being a director, right? Without being the producer, the director, the screenwriter. Just sit with the memory of who you are, with the unconditional love, however you can conceive of unconditional love. And that's where the true healing occurs. Right? But like I say, in the meantime, take care of yourself. Paragraph 4, is there a role for healing then that one can use to offer help for someone else? Right? In arrogance, the answer must be no. But in humility, there is indeed a place for helpers. It is like the role that helps in prayer and lets forgiveness be what it was meant to be. You do not make yourself the bearer of the special gift that brings the healing. You but recognize your oneness, right, with the one who calls for help. Right? For in this oneness is his separate sense dispelled, and it is this that made him sick. There is no point in giving remedy from where the source of sickness is, for never thus can it be truly healed. Right? He says there's no point in giving remedy from the ego world. Okay? Because that's removed from where the sickness is. The sickness lies in the belief that I separated from the oneness. Right? So then the question is, so is there a role for somebody who believes that? All right. Is there a role for healing then that one can use to offer help for someone else? All right. Someone is in physical or emotional pain. Is there a role for someone who believes in the metaphysics of the Course, who believes that true healing is in remembering that you're not separated? Right? He says, in arrogance, the answer is no. So what are you going to do? All right, she's in pain, he's in pain. What are you going to do? You're going to sit there and ohm? All right? In arrogance, the answer is no. But in humility, there is indeed a place for helpers. It is like the role that helps in prayer and lets forgiveness be what it is meant to be. In other words, you go without an agenda into your right mind and just become that channel of love. And since minds are connected, the love will enter the mind of everyone, especially the one who is in turmoil. Right? So it's arrogant to think that the answer lies outside the mind. And in humility, there is a place for helpers. You just let forgiveness be what it was meant to be. Right? You don't direct it. You don't have to know what it looks like. You don't know what should be done. You just sit or stand in the oneness and allow the oneness to come through you. Right? And it will come into the mind of the other. And that's the healing, that's the true healing. Right? And in some point in their existence, they'll pick up on it. Right? You do not make yourself the bearer of the special gift that brings the healing. So you don't, make the announcement. You don't come in some kind of special garb, some kind of uniform or something, some kind of vestments signifying that you are a holy person. All right? There's no need for that. He says you do not make yourself the bearer of the special gift. You just are. You just are that. Right? You but recognize your oneness with the one who calls for help. You just realize we are the same. We are the same. And sit in that realization. Okay? For in this oneness is his separate sense dispelled. So in the mind of the one who's in distress, the sense of separation is dispelled. Right? If even just for that moment, we're the ones that think we fluctuate. Right? That sense of, for in this oneness is his sense, his separate sense dispelled. And it is this that made him sick. It was that belief in separation that led to whatever condition he's in or she's in. Right? There is no point in giving remedy apart from where the source of sickness is. Right? Now, it doesn't mean don't do it. Okay? If you're a doctor, especially, do what you got to do. Do your thing. Just realize that you're working within the ego thought system, and you keep in mind, right? We are one. We are not separate. Right? But he just drives home the point. He says there's no point in giving remedy apart from where the source of sickness is, which is the belief in separation. For never thus can it be truly healed. Right? And he never says don't do it though, okay? So just realize what's happening, where you're at, all right? But if you can help somebody who's in pain, do it, okay? All right. I remember talking to Dr. Wapnick years ago, and I asked him, I was having a problem with I had just recently become a licensed massage therapist, and shout out to the Florida School of Massage, which is still in operation, which is a wonderful place. But in the 90s, I was having a lot of problems with it, you know, and I asked him for a couple of minutes of his time, and he would joke with me and say, only a couple of minutes, you know. But he said to me, listen, when I gave him what was bothering me, he said, listen, he says, what you're doing, he says, you are helping people that are in pain. He says, that's a wonderful thing. He says, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just because you're having a problem in this area or that area, don't quit. All right? Don't quit. He says, what you're doing is you're helping people who are in pain. Right? And pain is a big distraction. It roots you in the body. Right? And as a practitioner of anything, you can, what they call, hold the space. Right? I think Eckhart Tolle is fond of using that phrase, especially about massage therapists. All right? The ones who are truly, whose consciousness is rising, they hold the space. That's in the mind. They hold that mind space. Right? I'm looking for the trigger point, but I realize there is no separation. Right? We are one. All right? So heal as there are, for there are sons of God who recognize their source and understand that all their source creates is one with them. This is the remedy that brings relief, which cannot fail. Right? It will remain to bless for all eternity. It heals no part, but wholly and forever. Now the cause of every malady has been revealed exactly as it is. And in that place is written now the holy word of God. Sickness and separation must be healed by love and union. Nothing else can heal, as God established healing. Without him there is no healing, for there is no love. Right? Without God there is no love, and there's no healing. Right? Sickness and separation must be healed by love. Right? So the basic root cause of sickness is the belief that you're separated from love. You're separated from the oneness. And the practitioners, there are healers, right? And maybe it's not a specific activity they are engaged in. They might just be walking around the street. Right? And you sit down on a park bench next to them. All right? And all of a sudden, your thoughts are different. Your perception is shifted. That's what happens. That's what's possible. Right? Healers there are for the sons of God who recognize their source. So it behooves us to constantly remind ourselves, constantly bring ourselves back into the mind. And I love that phrase from the forgiveness section of the pamphlet here. What should I do for this holy child of God? And leave it at that. All right? What should I do? Come with holy, empty hands unto your God. Right? What is it I should do? Walk around with that in sincerity and that intent, and you're rising in prayer. Right? You're rising in communion with the oneness. Right? Sickness and separation must be healed by love and union. Right? And this recognition of the source, he says, it brings a remedy that will not fail. Right? No matter what the form looks like, the remedy does not fail. The seeds are implanted. Right? The awareness of the source, right, is in the mind, and it will rise. The awareness will rise. Even though it looks like we're all running around with separate minds. Right? The consciousness is rising. Right? And there are those who, in the words of Eckhart Tolle and many others, who hold the space. Right? I remember, it's just reminding me, this is in the 90s. Now all of a sudden I'm working in an establishment that was at that time called the Great American Back Rub. We did, it was in Manhattan, right? Busy place. And we did chair massages, which I love chair massage. It's very effective. And there I was doing my thing, you know. I mean, you had to follow certain protocols because it was like a business, like a retail. You know, you couldn't go smudging people and stuff like that. No neck adjustments and things like that, you know. But I was, working on this woman's shoulders, and I just relaxed my hands for a moment. I let them rest on her shoulders, and I just envisioned white light at the time. All right. Well, she just sat straight up, and she was kind of annoyed at me. She goes, "Did you just put white light into me?" Well, yeah, sorry. And she, as far as I remember, she got up and walked out. It's like, okay, sorry about that. But that's the power of the mind. That's the minds being joined, in my opinion. And another young lady who was in a car accident. I was working in another place. And after the session was over, she sat up and she said, were you praying for me? And in a way, I guess I was. I was in that state of union, you know. All right. Now, believe me, I'm not putting any medals on myself. I still am tempted to give the finger to cab drivers and stuff like that. All right. But I'm on the path. All right. And I have many exquisite moments. Let me put it to you that way. The others are becoming less and less. The negative moments are becoming less and less, because I'm learning to ask, what can I do? What can I do? All right. So sickness and separation must be healed by love and union. Nothing else can heal, as God established healing. Healing is the recognition that you're not guilty. Right. Paragraph 6, God's voice alone can tell you how to heal. Listen, and you will never fail to bring his kindly remedy to those he sends to you. Let him heal them, and to bless all those who serve with him in healing's name. The body's healing will occur because its cause has gone. And now, without a cause, it cannot come again in different form. Nor will death be any more feared, because it has been understood. There is no fear in one who has been truly healed. For love has entered now where idols used to stand, and fear has given way at last to God. All right? So God's voice alone can tell you how to heal. All right? In other words, don't go there with a plan. Even as I had to learn as a massage therapist, don't be, relying on an outcome. All right? Just listen to the patient, listen to your higher self, listen to the Holy Spirit, and then apply your techniques. Just one more massage story. When I was working in Manhattan, a very busy place in Manhattan, on 57th Street and 3rd Avenue. So, you know what I mean? And I go and get the next ticket. I call the person's name. I come over and they explain to me what's happening. Right? And I'm listening. And I begin to do my work, and I'm responding to what the woman had told me, and I'm using my knowledge of massage, and the next thing I know, I mean, people would be face down, in the face cradle and all, sitting, but on an incline. Next thing you know, she sits up straight and she jumps up out of the chair. She goes running around the space that we used for the business, and she's going, it's a mitzvah, it's a mitzvah. And all my coworkers are looking at me like, what'd you do? But all I did was listen to her, all right? And things worked out, all right? Let's just put it that way. That was funny. But that was not my doing. That was me practicing holding the space, and really being guided, okay? I don't want to, like I say, I don't want to, dump accolades on myself, all right? But I've had a lot of exquisite moments doing massage, all right, which I no longer do, but so it goes, as Kurt Vonnegut would say. Alrighty then. God's voice alone can tell you how to heal. Listen, and you will never fail to bring his kindly remedy to those he sends to you, to let him heal them, and to bless all those who serve with him in healing's name. So as people are healed, you're healed. And it's not that God sends people to you. Whoever's standing in front of you really has been sent, so to speak. Okay? The body's healing will occur because its cause has gone. The belief in separation has gone in the mind. We erased it. And the body will heal. Right. And now, without a cause, it cannot come again in a different form. Right? So there's not that symptom substitution because the guilt is gone. Right? Nor will death anymore be feared because it has been understood. Right? Death will be understood as you did your job. You no longer need this to do any work. And it's okay. So there's no fear in one who has been truly healed. For love has entered now where idols used to stand. And fear has given way at last to God. When we are in that space, there is no fear. Fear can't exist in the right mind, where the memory of God is, where the memory of who you are exists. Fear is dispelled, right? And the more we exercise that, the more it comes into our awareness, really. Right? I'm reminded of people were doing a documentary on the Dalai Lama. And the cameraman tells the story that he walked into a room to set up his camera, and the Dalai Lama was sitting there meditating, on the pillow with his eyes closed. And then Dalai Lama opened his eyes, and the guy was so apologetic. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you. I didn't mean to disturb you." He goes, "No, it was just meditating. It was meditating on death." And the guy was like, "What?" And he goes, "What did you see?" And the Dalai Lama just burst out laughing, he said. And he said, "Nothing." Nothing. And he just laughed this very hearty laugh. Because there is no fear in one who is truly healed, in one who has accepted the oneness, one who has become aware of their place in the oneness. There's no more fear. Right? For love has entered now where idols used to stand, and fear has given way at last to God. Right? It's practice. Alrighty then. Thanks for putting up with my asides, my stream of consciousness memories here. Alrighty. Until the next time, thank you very much. All right. Bye now.